This is Jamie Notter from Human Workplaces, and in this quick video, I'm going to give you an overview of our WorkXO culture assessment that we developed several years ago and that is now integrated into QuestionPro's workforce platform. Now, the assessment itself is 64 questions and is completed by your employees in about 15 minutes. And within 24 hours of the survey being done, we can show you the results in the platform that I'm showing you right now. And there are many layers to the reporting that you'll get in the platform. We usually start with just showing you how all 64 questions can be broken down into what we call 8 culture markers. So agility, collaboration, all the way through transparency. And you can see that the scale here is not good to bad. You're not looking for favorable scores. What you're looking for is, where is your organization? Where do your people experience your culture on this continuum from traditionalist, like traditional management, command and control, that kind of thing, through contemporary to futurist, like the organizations that you see profiled in the business press that are radically transparent or extremely agile and collaborative, that kind of thing. Knowing where you are on that scale is more important than knowing whether people like that or not. Now, where the assessment I think gets more interesting is when you go dig into each of these culture markers individually. So when you click on the culture marker on the left, it'll take you through to the detail page. Now this starts by showing you, okay, within innovation, where they got about a 3, which is on the lower end of contemporary. Within innovation, there are these 8 building blocks. And there's actually a much bigger range of scores here, from 4.08 on inspiration down to 2.5 on continuous improvement. And what we look for here are the patterns. Okay, so the building blocks on the left, where that scored a little more higher, a little more futurist, they're more present inside the culture: inspiration, creativity, future focus. Those are the concept sides of innovation. And you need those concepts valued if you want to do innovation inside your organization, but you also need the action steps side of innovation valued. And here you can see those are all below 3: experimentation, risk-taking, beta testing. And these are the kinds of patterns that I point out to clients when we're doing the analysis to say, is that a pattern that's getting in the way of success? Because if it is, you'll need to fix it. Now, the data also includes what we call the agreement index, which is standard deviation. So you can see which questions had tighter alignment around that average versus more variety in the responses. And then there's an entire section where, under Analyze Your Culture Profile, where you can start to analyze how the different subgroups inside your organization responded to the same questions in the survey. So you get to choose which breakdowns you want. These are some standard ones we use. But we often see differences, for instance, around level in the hierarchy and how they answer the questions in the survey. Some groups tend to be more futurist than others. There's usually some insight that you can pull from that. The platform itself also allows you to do filtering and really some fine slicing and dicing. So for instance, if you look at gender for this organization, there's very little difference in how men and women answer the questions overall. But if you filter that just to look at the senior level, director and above, you'll find that in fact in this particular imaginary organization there are differences at that level. And so the slicing and dicing that you can do here really helps you see how the different groups are experiencing the culture, and then helps you start that conversation about whether that's important. You can even go down to the level of individual questions on that. So this shows the list of all the individual questions in the survey. And if you picked just, for instance, the senior level women to see how their scores were, you can see they scored more traditional, as the last graph indicated, on things like agility and collaboration. But you can even go down to the individual questions, look for the biggest percent differences to see, okay, those questions, there's an even greater gap. And what does that mean? Again, this is just a quick overview, because there's more to it than this. We have employee comments. There's a lot more analysis you can do on the group differences. But I also wanted to mention, as I said before, that the culture assessment is now part of QuestionPro's workforce platform, which is more than just this assessment. So in addition to getting this this portal where you can do the analysis and people inside your organization can get access to it. There is now also a back end that your admin HR people can use to do even deeper analysis. So for instance, on the back end, you can see the same data in a different format basically in terms of how the scores were, but you'll also be able to see their employee net promoter score. And as you filter along those areas that I showed you before, level and gender and function and that kind of stuff, you can see the differences in the ENPS scores. You can also do customized scorecards here, and one that I use a lot with clients, driver analysis, where you can map actually the markers or even each individual question to see if there's a correlation between that question and the employee net promoter score question, or among the different questions themselves. So you can do even further analysis on the back end. But in addition to that, because it's part of the Question Pro platform, the workforce platform, you'll be able to run other surveys and start connecting the dots between the data in your culture assessment and your employee experience surveys. So this platform lets you develop customized surveys if you like, but also we have frameworks for doing employee experience surveys around the recruitment process or onboarding or exit surveys. You don't have to use the questions in the frameworks, but they're there for you and you can customize them. What I really like about it is that it also allows you, as you're designing your employee experience surveys at different points in the along the employment life cycle, you can specifically and easily pull in questions from the specific questions from the culture assessment and add it to your experience surveys, so you can do the dot connecting a little bit easier. So we're really excited that this is the assessment we created is now part of this robust platform, and it allows you, as I said, to do some integrating between your employee experience work and your understanding of your culture, which I think makes the action planning more effective and easier to track. So if you have any questions about this, just head over to humanworkplaces.net, fill out the contact form, and we will be in touch.